come to you with when you were researching on your book on the Tata Group. What did you feel about perception of people about Tata, especially with the boardroom battles that they've had, and what did media do, and how did they go about actually changing perceptions?
Yeah, so now on the Tata book. So just to show, this is the latest book that I have written. This is on the Tata Group on the occasion of the 150th anniversary. Avik was asking me, why didn't Sujata mention about you having written the Tata book? I said, I will mention about it. So just let me share a little bit about why I wrote about the Tatas.
Okay, I'll mention something. The first edition is already sold out.
Yes,
in
that's
1
right.
month.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. The first, it's just 4 weeks and the first print has been sold out. It's gone for reprint. So that speaks a lot, not about how well I have written the book, but how well the brand of the Tatas is perceived in the market, because the name Tata sells, not just in the book format, but in every format. And I'll tell you why. Uh, this is not a book which is commissioned by the Tatas. Let me just present that as a caveat. I've written this as an outcome of 10 years of my research, right from my years as PhD student till now. Interviewed about 100 plus Tata leaders, visited their sites, their archives across India, and accessed about 1,500 references, national, international, journals, articles, magazines, everything, to provide a holistic account from several lenses. Now, why the Tatas? A few fact files. I recently read an article. The last 50 years, if one were to see the Fortune 500 companies in the West, which were there 50 years earlier, 1967, 68, and those which are there in 2017, 2018, only 12% of the companies found their mention after 50 years. They were still a part of the Fortune 500 group, which means 88% of the companies in these 50 years were out of the Fortune 500. But the Tata Group, for the last 80 years, have consistently been able to be the #1 group in India, whether it is under the British Raj, whether it is under the license Raj, or whether it is under the billionaire Raj, as it is called now. This group of companies has remained on the top. Second, Tatas today are the third largest employers in the country. First is the defense forces, second is railways, third is the Tatas. Third, in a left-leaning state where the left ruled for 30 years, I'd like to make a pitch for capitalism. We all say corporates are bad. But one fact I would like to present before the audience, just take this case in point. The Tata Group of companies alone have contributed in 2016 47,000 crores in taxes. One group has contributed 47,000 crores annually in taxes. That shows the phenomenal amount of resources that a proper taxation system and a liberalized economy can provide to entrepreneurship, so that that money can be plowed back for education, for healthcare, for infrastructure, for social inclusion, and loads of programs which all governments of all states talk about as being necessary for the country. And lastly, creating value for all the stakeholders, which is our point of conversation today. Each of you here is a Tata consumer in some form or the other. Every alternate Indian consumes a Tata product almost every day. We either have Tata salt, or we drink Tata tea or coffee, or we wear Titan watches, or Tanishq jewelry, or drive Tata cars, or our luggage and our cargo is transported in Tata trucks or in products made out of Tata steel. Every single aspect of life is governed by this group of companies. So phenomenal products, no doubt. In the liberalized era, someone was asking me today before this session, do you think competition is good? That's what the big business houses thought when we became liberalized in 1991-92. That is competition good? Indian companies will shut shop when all these MNCs come in. But the Indian companies and corporations have proved to the contrary, that they've continued to grow, and today Indian companies are some of the largest in the world in several sectors, many of which are also Tata companies. Lastly, very few know, the Tatas are usually considered as great social contributors. We spoke about society, the Tata Medical Center in Kolkata, the Tata Cancer Hospital in Bombay, which is the largest integrated cancer care hospital in Asia. IISc Bangalore, among the best universities in Asia. Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, which is the cradle of India's nuclear program. Tatas have contributed to all this, and they are usually considered as a good company. But are they a great company? Are they doing justice to capitalism by creating wealth for their shareholders? And I did a short study as part of my book, and I studied the Tata Group's financial performance between 92 and 2017 by taking 16 Tata companies and investing a notional amount of 1 lakh in them. I found that in 25 years, the Tata companies have given 4 times the return that the BSE, Sensex or the Nifty indices have given. The Tatas have created more wealth for their shareholders than Reliance and Aditya Birla. The Tatas have created more wealth for their shareholders than Mitsubishi, Siemens and GE, the leading conglomerates of Japan, Europe and America. And the Tatas have created more wealth for their shareholders in these 25 years than even Berkshire Hathaway under the phenomenal Warren Buffett. So my premise in this book is, it does pay that doing well, you can do well by doing good. And this is the Tata model. So in the Tata context, recently it featured in the top 100 brands of the world and with a valuation of $19 billion. But what I would like to say is, a hollow brand doesn't work. What works is a brand with substance. How much ever brand building, PR, media, communication, outreach we may do, if the final product or service doesn't meet a customer's expectations, that brand is not going to be able to sustain the hype. How much ever we may talk about how empathy or interculturally sensitive we are, if in the office the superior subordinate relationship and rapport is not up to the mark, or the boss doesn't walk the talk, you're not going to have that brand and all its employee related halo sustainable. So the product, the process, the interrelationships within the companies is what makes a brand. And sustainable delivery of that day in and day out is the most important. So companies need to walk the talk if they really want to see their brand out there.